Welcome everyone to Monday, February 22nd, City Council meeting. And can we have a roll call to establish quorum, please, ma'am?
James DeVito.
Here.
Mickey Schneider.
Here.
David Mitchell.
Here.
Bob Thomas.
Here.
Joyce Geller.
Here.
Terry McClung.
I'm here.
If we can stand the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
You got any additions?
I'd like to talk for just a couple of minutes about the upcoming workshops.
Okay.
Planning. I guess it's old business. I don't know if it's newer or old business.
Oh, we'll put it under new business. Anything else? We get a second on that, I guess?
Second.
All right. All those in favor of the approval of the agenda as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Our minutes, get a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any additions, corrections? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We've got Michael Mary is here representing the hospital, and he's going to give us a little update on what the hospital commission's been doing and where they're going and what's happening. So,
Good evening, everyone. I've been asked to step up and give a State of the Commission address. So, just a little bit briefly about our relationship with Allegiance Healthcare. We've had our ups and downs, as most of you probably know. Currently, however, and as of course you know from the recent newspaper article, there's not very large likelihood of seeing a new hospital facility in Eureka Springs. However, we do have a company that's very dedicated to making a profit and supplying quality health care at our original site here in Eureka Springs. Allegiance is expanding. They are responsible for our newest physician in town over in the what used to be the walk-in clinic. And he's certain he's going to be a constant in Eureka Springs for a long time to come, and with our retiring medical staff around Eureka dropping as quickly as they are, we can use every new physician we can get. So you guys get a chance to drop by and say hello to him, please do. I was just discussing the lease length with Allegiance. It is my belief that there is a 2-year left on the current standard of the lease with an auto renewal for another 5 years at that time. No signatures of any kind are required on the auto renewal. Just if we're not contacted by the company 120 days in advance, then we can assume that the lease will continue. That will give us an additional 5 years and a total of 7 years to see Allegiance continuing on with Eureka Springs and our hospital. Again, I can't say anything bad at all about the hospital. The people that work there are absolutely wonderful folks that are dedicated to our city and working with us. So in spite of the difficulties we've had in the past with Allegiance, I'm real pleased with the folks we have that are working at the hospital. Well, very briefly, the Commission has an income of approximately $180,000 a year through the lease with Allegiance Healthcare for operating the hospital. In addition to that figure, we have a lease with Louisiana Healthcare operating the home health care service that is a part of our licensure. This currently fluctuates depending on the income of LHC. However, right now it's approximately $180,000 a year. So the commission has approximately $360,000 a year coming in to our bank accounts, which right now total very slightly over $2 million. I've spoken to the City Council about this before. Spending any of this money is a very delicate situation. The State Attorney General's office controls how this money can be spent. And originally this money was designed so that the commission can run a community hospital, a hospital that we pay the employees, that we buy the new equipment. And that's the way that Eureka Springs did business for a very long time. We came to terms with the fact that health care was going to be changing really dramatically in the foreseeable future. And we knew that the city could not maintain the cost of running a municipal facility, so we leased to a company that could. And as a result, the activity of our commission is lessened pretty dramatically. Where we used to run a hospital, make decisions and spend money and determine what needed to be done and what didn't, mostly now we babysit bank accounts. Based on the fact that we're not getting a new hospital anytime soon, Allegiance is idle and the commission is as well. Which brings me to my next point. The last commission meeting, the commission decided that it was within the appropriate statutes regarding the commission that we reduce our meetings from once a month to quarterly. We will have one more monthly meeting in March, and after that it will be 90 days apart for each subsequent meeting. They will continue to be held at the Echo Clinic on Highway 62 on the third Monday of the appropriate month at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. As a result, there's going to be a little bit of time that the commission is out of pocket. Subsequently, the hospital staff and the city council both have the ability to contact me or Bob Walling at any need whatsoever, and if there's something that we need to pick up and work with between commission meetings, I recommend that City Council or Allegiance contact me, and we'll work through any questions that we might have. I think that's just about all I had to say. One other issue I should point out. Our commission has recently lost one commissioner. In the very near future, I think in June, it might happen even before, we're likely to lose two more. Pam Crockett and Dr. Jack both will be leaving us very soon. That's going to leave us 4 commissioners, MJ, myself, Bob Walling, and our newest member. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. So if anyone has anyone they would like to recommend, please send them to the mayor or me for recommendation, because we're going to, if anything happens beyond the 4 that we'll have left, we won't have a quorum. And that's a bit of a concern until I get that problem solved. I'm looking as well. So, can I ask you for any questions from anyone before I step down?
Is the commission responsible for the maintenance of that facility? And what is your assessment of the physical condition of that building? What kind of shape is it in, and what's it going to need in the next, are we talking here 7 years now?
Right. Actually, the way our contract is written with Allegiance Healthcare is they are completely responsible for any cost of maintenance to keep it within the standards that is required by OSHA and the other governing hospital body that makes those determinations. So as I understand it, the building is in excellent condition. The parts of it that they're using, and as they expand, they're moving to other facilities outside of that building. For example, their laundry now is located over by Exxon station on Passion Play Road, across the street from it there. And they're opening up other services in smaller satellite facilities away from that building. So they're handling it very well from
Okay.
what I can see, and the building is intact and doesn't have any, it was inspected recently and doesn't have any problems that the inspection mentioned.
Okay, I was just anticipating problems we might have.
Nothing that we will have to take care of because Allegiance
I mean, the
is
council might have. Okay.
Sir.
Wasn't it recently re-roofed?
Yes, it was. As a matter of fact, very recently it's had a new tar base put on the roof and is intact with no problems. Well, thank you for having me, folks.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. So as Mr. Murray noted, we do have one vacancy on the hospital commission, and probably will have a couple more. So anybody out in TV land is interested in serving on our hospital commission, that's probably one of the easier ones to do.
Are they required to be citizens of Eureka Springs?
No.
Okay.
They can be probably Western District, I think, is the only requirement. We have several citizens from Holiday Island that are on it right now.
That's good.
So, anyway, our next couple of items we have on the parks, we do have a new, we have one vacancy, and we also have a new parks director, and Justin Huss, was just hired recently, and we'll be bringing him in along with the chairman to introduce him to the council. He comes from Eastern Arkansas and has got quite a resume. Out of 80-some-odd applicants, he was the cream de la cream. And he's real excited to be here, and the Parks Commissioners are real excited to be able to get him here. The Cemetery Commission, I have some bad news. We have received last Friday the sad news of the chairman, Commissioner Ken Fugate, passed away. Quite unexpectedly, and passed away in his sleep. So our condolences are out to Ken's family. But that puts our cemetery in a kind of a quandary. We have two people right there, only right now, on the commission. And of course, we're going to be taking up Peg Adamson's nomination tonight too, right now.
Are you ready for that?
I'm ready for that.
Because I've talked to Peg Adamson, and I would like to put her name in to suggest that we approve her appointment to the Cemetery Commission. She seems to have a lot of enthusiasm. She's a newer resident who's very eager to get involved in Eureka Springs, and I think the Cemetery Commission is a good place to kind of get familiar with Eureka. It's an entry level, as I'm saying, and I'm impressed with her interest, so I would like to put her, ask that we approve her nomination.
I'll second that.
Okay.
She's awesome.
She is. Peg is real vibrant and vivacious, and I think she'll be a great addition onto the commission. Any other comments? All those in favor of Peg Adamson being appointed to Cemetery Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Peg, if you're watching. And again, anybody who's interested, please contact us.
Again, do they need to be residents inside the city limits for this commission?
No. I don't think so. Do they? Oh, she said they do. No. I thought they could be outside the city, but evidently inside.
The hospital commission does not have to be.
Correct. Cemetery evidently
Cemetery
does.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So, anyway, that brings us up to public comments.
We have one, Enid Schwartz.
Ms. Schwartz.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor and council people. My name is Enid Schwartz, and I have lived in this town for over 18 years. Not in the city, I'm 6 miles out. I'm on Bluebird Ridge. A little background on me. I am a native Minnesotan. I came down here because you have 4 seasons, 3 months each. We have 4 seasons, mostly winter, 7 months, 1 month spring, 3 months heat, mosquitoes, road repair, 1 month fall, back to winter. So I just wanted to let you know that that's my background, and I do love Eureka, and I especially love Arkansas. It's a beautiful state. But what I need to talk to you today about is the polyurethane bags that are handed out by all of the businesses. And they are strewn along our roads. Animals get caught in them. They are a mess. And they make our area look terrible. Now, I was just in California, and I believe 2 years ago, the governor decided that there were going to be no more of these polyurethane bags. They were going to either use people's own bags, like this one I bought at Hart's, made out of old plastic that was recycled, or they have to pay 10 cents per paper bag if they don't bring their own. And that whole state is cleaned up so beautifully. You wouldn't believe how much better it looks. Now, it seems to me that this town really prides itself on being ecologically savvy, yet we still hand out these bags. It just doesn't make any sense. So I would like to see our town, maybe it just could be our town, put a petition out that we aren't going to use these bags anymore. This is from the dollar store, you know that, and Hart's is giving great thought to changing over because you can buy these at Hart's. They're going to change over. So, because I talked to them about it and told them how many of the Hart's bags I see along the highway. So, I hope that you will maybe have some kind of a movement to stop these polyurethane bags. Go to paper or these. Everybody bring their own to where you shop, or they pay 10 cents per paper bag in California. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Schwartz.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is our unfinished business, ordinance number 2236, home occupation CUP for the third reading.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right. Anybody have any comments? Mr. McClung.
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2236 on its third and final reading.
Title only.
By title only. Thank you.
Second.
You got any further discussion? You get a roll call?
Mr. McClung?
Yes?
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
6-0.
All right. You get a motion to... Sorry.
Ordinance 2236, an ordinance amending Title 14 of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code to clarify home occupation business locations.
Yeah.
Move to approve ordinance number 2236 on its third reading.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
6-0.
All right. So approved. Our next item is home storage of contractor's material.
Motion
On
to
its
discuss.
third reading.
Second.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2237 up for its third reading by title only.
Second.
Any discussion?
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
6-0. Ordinance number 2237, an ordinance amending Title 11.08.04 of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code to clarify storage at home occupation, building, contractor, businesses.
Mr. DeVito.
To approve ordinance number 2237 on its third reading.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
6-0.
Moving right along to our third item of unfinished business, ordinance number 2238, rezoning of 120 South Main Street to C1 on its third reading.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2238 up for its third and final reading by title only.
Second.
Any further discussion?
What is it, 2238?
Ms. Zeller?
Wait a minute, 2230, this is 2237 we're considering?
8.
38.
Rezoning, it would be right before this one.
The little house on Main Street.
Okay. Yes, okay, I somehow got these numbers screwed up. Sorry about that. Yes, okay.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller? Excuse me, Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
5-0. Ordinance number 2238, an ordinance amending the zoning of certain real property within the corporate city limits of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, bordered partially by West Main Street and Armstrong Street.
Mr.
Move
DeVito.
to approve ordinance 2238 on its third reading.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
6-0.
All right, so moved. And that brings us down to our ordinance for adjusting the EMS fees, ordinance number 2238 on that, but that's not
Right, so could we change it to 2239, please?
Okay. Ordinance 2239, an ordinance amending section 2.44.09 regarding fire and EMS fees.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Okay. Discussion's open. Mr. McClung.
I'd like to go ahead and place ordinance number 2239 on its second reading by, suspend the rules by title only.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Zeller?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Oh, yes.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
6-0. Ordinance number 2239, an ordinance amending section 2.44.09 regarding fire and EMS fees and permits.
Move to approve ordinance number 2239 on its second reading.
Second.
Any further discussion? Yes, sir.
Is there any haste needed in passing this ordinance?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, we've waited this long.
Well, I didn't know if there was another billing going out or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yep. And, so what?
Voice vote.
Voice vote.
Oh, voice vote, I'm sorry. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. And that brings us down to our new business. Ms. Armstrong, you got the 2015 fourth quarter financial reports.
It's all but the debt service book is here this evening. So we have the bank balances as of the end of December, the disbursements, the receipts for the fourth quarter, and payroll. So it'll be in the clerk's office except for the debt service book, and that'll be in Lonnie's office.
I don't know, do we need a motion? Just, okay. All right, if anybody's got any questions, they can come down and see Ann, and she's got them in her office. And same thing for the public. If you've got any questions, come down, and we've got them open here for review. So that brings us down to discussion of a workshop that we were talking about for our next meeting at 5:30.
Motion
Bob?
to discuss.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay.
Well, as I understand it, this is an ongoing meeting that would be held the second council day of each month. And I just really want some clarification for the first meeting. What is our topic? What are we looking to cover?
Which is going to be basically going over our budgets and kind of in detail.
The 2016
Yes.
budget?
Well, the monthly budget so what you will be, what you have in your boxes, we'll be going and discussing those items. So if you've got any questions or anything, we can raise them up and discuss them at that point.
And we'll get that information a
Prior-
week before the meeting, probably, or maybe.
Hopefully, yeah. That's what we're shooting for.
Was it, the meeting will be,
Second,
before the second meeting of the
Yes.
month.
and we're supposed to get the financials on the 15th.
Around the 15th,
Very
16th.
good. Oh, he
yeah.
says around, yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're shooting to get it to you at least a week beforehand, so y'all can
Yeah,
study it, look
okay.
at it.
That's plenty of time.
And then if we needed something different, like the a statement of all the accounts or at some different points, we don't get that every month, but if we wanted it, we could always ask for it to be
Yes.
there.
And also, at that meeting too, we can, if we got any questions or anything too, we can always bring in department heads or whoever we've got a question on and talk about it too.
The statement of bank balance accounts we're talking about?
That one, if we needed it. We don't necessarily get it every month,
Well,
do we?
that and a listing of all the long-term debts of the city. Those are the two additional items I asked for.
Okay.
And Lonnie's planning to do them every month.
Oh, okay.
He told me Friday he would have them ready within a couple of days.
Then we'll have them.
Yeah. I guess that now that I know we're discussing the 2016 budget, when will the 2016 budget be discussed on camera?
Well, we'll discuss it that night.
Okay, after the
Right.
workshop.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just because it's going to take a little bit longer time to discuss some of the workshops
Uh-huh.
on there. Mr. McClellan?
I'm curious as in what context you mean discussing the budget.
I was a little confused about the topic of the workshop, that's why.
No, I mean, as far as discussing the budget on camera, we're certainly not going to go over all the line items and do that kind of thing.
No. I mean, if there's anything that somebody has a question about that we need to be brought up to the public that you think's, out of line or the public needs to be aware of, we can certainly bring it up at that point in time.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully, what we'll get, we'll go through this and see what we find, and we're not going to do a line. We can do a line item, of course, but if most of the line items, and I'll go through some of it tonight, is, we're on pretty well track. We've got some things that you're going to have some questions about, possibly, and we can answer those. And if there's anything you think needs to be brought up, we can discuss that. It's always an open meeting anyway. It's just trying to keep the council meetings a little shorter.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yes.
Are you suggesting that it be an agenda item like it was last year? Is that what?
The monthly update from the mayor, I was going to, when we got to agenda setting, I was just going to remind people that we had agreed to have that on the agenda the first meeting of every month.
Well, and I'm going to discuss that when we get through, under the mayor's
First.
comments.
First.
Second.
First.
Two different things.
Oh.
We're talking the early one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I guess my confusion stemmed from the fact that, David, at one point you were talking about an orientation to Budget 101, and that's kind of what I thought we were looking at.
Oh, I was
We lost that.
talking about the future and the situation that when a new council comes in or gets seated, they have to pretty well approve the budget for the year they're in
Right.
without very much background. They pretty well have, for us, for example, we'll do the budget and we could all be gone and it's a whole new council sitting here and they're going, well, I guess we better pass it. But so, and it seems like going over where I came from and everything, and the fact that the way we did budgets was slightly different. We all have different versions of that, and it's so important now and into the future with this economy that it makes sense that hopefully the Director of Finance would set up a session almost immediately after the council is seated to go over the concept of the budget, take the budget, show people where it comes from, and really do budgeting 101 by the city so that they immediately start out with a strong understanding of this city's budget.
So would you leave that to the finance director, or are you saying we should be setting that up in December for the January?
I would hope that the mayor would work with the Director of Finance and he would take the thing and develop some guidelines for what he wanted to discuss and maybe even share it with us, how he was going to approach that with the council. That's all.
Mr. McClung?
In the past, and at least as it was for me, back whenever I first ran for council, I mean, it was prudent for any of the people that were running for the office of alderman to attend some meetings and to have an idea of how this all worked, and then once the election was held in November, to sit in on anything and everything that for sure that was available to be, acquainted with what's going on in that budget process too. So, and there's no exclusion for them from any of those workshops or the meetings. So.
The elections are the first week in November approximately, and you should have 3 meetings at least in November plus December.
Right.
That the new council members can attend, and we'll be discussing. We're still working usually on our budgets and trying to get those things finalized in those period of times too.
And that is true, but then again, you're also doing council business and everything, and it's not necessarily a session where the council, new people especially, can sit down and receive education.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Agenda setting. Yes, sir.
I just would like to get the mayor's budget report put back on the agenda. We had agreed that it would be at the first meeting. We had it in October, November, and December, and then it got dropped in January and February.
We didn't have the reports until, and I'm going to give you a report here in a minute under my mayor's report.
Okay. But are you taking that away from the agenda then?
Well, it's on the agenda.
The monthly budget report?
It's on the agenda.
Okay.
I'm not taking it away. What I did was I moved it down to the mayor's comments. I'm presenting the budget to you all at that point and where we are on it.
Okay.
You've got copies of the budget.
In lieu of the agenda item?
We can have it as an agenda item if you want, Bob. I mean, it's if that's what you want to go ahead and do.
I think he's wanting it set that way so if we have questions that we can ask them.
Okay. Well, we can. All right. Yeah. I understand that. And that's my fault because it was we had it on the agenda and then I moved it down under the mayor's comments this time. So.
Are you the second?
Second.
Oh, didn't
We didn't make a motion.
Second to what? Second to none.
Second.
Did you want to put it on the agenda, make it under the agenda item?
Well, at the September meeting, when we discussed it very, very briefly, I asked the question, do I need to make a motion? And you said, no, we'll just put it on the first the agenda of the first meeting every month.
Well, it can't, we need to have it on the second meeting. We can't have it on the first meeting because we don't have the information by that time.
Or it could be a month behind.
Yeah.
We always will be.
So either second meeting or a month behind, what do you want?
Well, I would prefer first because then we
That
can
would be
hear
a-
what the
that would be a
department
month-
heads.
That would be a month behind.
Right, but we can have the department heads' reactions that the mayor, that was that was when we brought this up for the first time, was because you had started your department head meeting.
Well, we still have the department head meetings,
Right.
but when we get the budgets, we're not getting them until the 15th of the month. Mr. McClung?
Well, I think I have to agree with what Bob's saying, because if, say, for an example, this next month, the second meeting of the month, we'll have gone over everything, and that'll be fresh in our minds that we've discussed it. And then at the following meeting, you will have everything new for you, or you'll have all that information that can be brought back up again at the meeting itself. And so if there's any questions at that time, we can bring it up.
Talking about the last...
Yeah, but which is fine. I mean, it's not that far behind.
Yeah.
We're going to be 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
it's all very close in time.
It makes sense now.
So we do it the first of the month from the previous month,
Yeah, and
from
then,
those numbers.
and then the second meeting, we have the 1-hour workshop prior to the meeting.
Okay.
That's all right. It'll flow.
Okay.
And that works because it gives you, all you're doing is basically making the mayor's summary of the financials for the month, and then which hasn't per se happened before. It will be an official in the meeting report from the mayor on the financials, and it kind of more formalizes it in a way, so that makes
All right.
sense.
Yeah, and I apologize, I was getting things backwards here on the reports,
For instance, you're going to discuss the January report tonight,
Correct.
but you're going to meet with your department heads on this next week or...
Tomorrow.
Right. So, that's why we need to delay your report to us till the first meeting of the month.
And then you'll also have the workshop, the banter that we had from that.
Yeah. And then if there's any questions, we can have
Yeah.
that taken care of. Okay.
So does that have to be a motion now?
No, it's already on the agenda.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Now we got that agenda item out of the way. Anybody else have another agenda? All right, city council comments? Bob?
Nope, I'm done.
Mr. McClung? Mr. DeVito?
Well, I'm looking at Dwayne Allen's report to council, and I'd just like to read it because I do think it may allay some concerns that people are having about fluoride and the potential for leaching lead into the system. It's a pretty big topic nationwide with what's going on in Michigan. So with council's permission, I'll just go ahead and read it. This is from Dwayne Allen, the Public Works Director. Well, I'd like to update you on the water quality issues that have now gained the attention of our entire state and nation. As you know, the health of our citizens is paramount. These headlines are helping everyone understand the importance of investing in and maintaining one's distribution system. The pipes and fittings that contain lead need to be replaced, or both the public and private, on both the public and private side. We must work for a goal of zero toxic substances, which include lead and arsenic in our drinking water. This means at some point plumbing will have to be replaced. AWWA, which I assume is Arkansas Water Works Association, is revising the lead and copper rule. The revised coliform rule takes effect April 1st. There are numerous contaminants that are unregulated. They are reviewing 54 chemicals and 5 microbes in the CCL3, which is the contaminant candidate list, to be included on CCL4. We are in phase 2 of the disinfectant byproduct rule and are well below averages at this point. Most rule changes are delayed due to funding and political pressure. I still believe your public water system is the best choice for drinking water, but we need to stay vigilant. Locally, we have increased our sampling by improving our wastewater lab. Our tests are performed to EPA standards. While our lab is not fully certified, I am confident of our results. We have run fluoride, lead, and pH. We will not be able to test some parameters in-house, such as arsenic, but have sent samples to a certified lab. We'll be testing for lead at our public schools and several daycares. We're investing in replacing service line in this year's budget. If anyone would like to be included in our testing, please contact me, Dwayne Allen. The first run of tests have shown the fluoride levels at 0.7 or just below. The state still recommends a 0.7 or 1.2 milligrams per liter, and Carol Boone is staying on the low side. The lead tests so far I have not detected any lead in the distribution system, with the in-house plumbing tests yet to come. The pH is running at 6.9 to 7 point pH and needs to be in the 6.5 to 7.5 range. I have not run the magnesium and calcium, but when I have all the numbers, I will produce a corrosion update. The thought of adding caustic soda or orthophosphates to our water is not the sustainable solution. We have increased our operational costs just to remove phosphate before it enters our waters. We still do not know to what degree the fluoride reacting to the disinfectant chloramine will increase pipe leaching. We will continue expanding our testing and adjust them as our results dictate. There is no need for panic, but our concern is warranted, and as our testing unfolds, we may need to change procedures or request changes from our water source. I will continue to advocate for the removal of sodium fluorosilicate from our water. That's from Dwayne Allen, our Public Works Director. And I applaud him for being proactive and out front on this issue because it is important to the community.
Thanks, James.
Oh, I just wanted to pick up on something that Enid Swartz said at the public comments, and that's the fact about the plastic bags and the use within the city limits. There, besides California doing that, there was in Colorado, starting down at Glenwood Springs all the way up to Aspen and through all those small communities, they have also banned the use of the plastic bags. And it has made a huge difference in not seeing them all flying around the highways and or ending up in cattle pastures where sometimes cattle eat them and it ends up killing them. And it is probably something that at some point we should consider. There, the stores collect the money and the money is split between the city and the store for those people who choose to not come up with alternatives for bagging whatever it is they bought.
Thank you. Mickey?
And to continue on in regards to what Enid brought up, Hearts gives you for free the recyclable bags when you spend, for every $100 you spend at the store. Over time, yes, you can really collect a lot of bags, and I use them for everything besides just my groceries. Last time I said happy birthday to granddaughters and grandsons. This time it's my mother-in-law. Happy birthday, Judy. Her birthday's the day before mine. Good Lord. Don't forget to vote next Tuesday. Preferential primary, very, very important.
Remind them early voting is still going on.
And early voting is going on here. I don't like early voting. Early voting's here at the courthouse next Tuesday, 7:30 to 7:30. That's it.
Thank you. Zeller?
And you can only vote in one primary.
Yes. Well, when you're there, you will be asked which ballot you want. So instead of having them separate by a week or two like they used to do when I first moved here, it'll be at one time, and they will ask which ballot you prefer.
I don't have anything to say.
I want to apologize, Council. I messed up on our budget thing, Bob, so we'll get that straightened out. Next month, we'll try to get this going in a way that we should have it. Last year, we had, because we were trying to get the other budget addressed and everything, we were trying to work everything out at one point. But I do want to give you an update on the January financials, which I think you guys all have. On the expense side, we're still continuing a focus on individual line items expenditures on a monthly basis. Because of one time early in the year, you'll notice that the workers' compensation and the municipal league professional services expenditures are up slightly. 8.75%. And those are, some of them are already noted as 100% of the total cost. That's because we pay it off right at the beginning. When we do our budgets, realize that we're not like a normal business where you've got a steady stream, a graph that can go up. Ours is more of a curve basis as our revenue comes in versus what we have to spend. They're not the same like they would be in a normal business where you have your inventory and your sales. So we kind of need to remember that sometimes there is going to be that curve when we're looking at the percentages. The finance, police, fire, EMS, building are all within their expenditure bottom line budget. And same thing for the streets, water, and sewer at this point in time. However, on the revenue side, we are running slightly under expectations. For January, it's 7.10%. And again, remember that we're running a month or 2 months behind. I don't remember, depending on our sales tax, how we collect that. So our general revenue, our revenue in the general fund's running particularly under expectations at 6.4%. Street funds revenue is 5.27%, and that's matched, however, with under budget expenditures for streets at 5.08%. So that kind of balances itself out. The water and sewer fund 80 is running under revenue projections for January at 6.85%. But again, expenditures are also running below projections at 6.15%. And then the transit numbers are going to look way out of whack because the money flowing in and then purchasing a new tram, which we just got, I think, last week and got it running. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an update and brief summary of where the budget is. Mr. McClung?
Any elaboration on reasons for the dip in revenue or the not meeting our expectations of budget revenue?
I haven't really, Lonnie and I have been talking about that, and we're not real sure where that was. Our sales tax and our CAPC tax had a dip also back in, and I don't remember whether it was a weather related or what. Yeah. Into November and December and through there. So, but I'm hoping, I mean, the way our weather's been going for January and February, we're looking, I'm seeing a lot of people out on the streets. Had a packed house for the auditorium show. People were lined up all the way down to Grand Central on it.
Did they seem to stay overnight or anything?
Yes.
Did they? Did they? Okay.
Oh yeah,
A lot of them did.
Okay.
They didn't have much choice.
Okay, so that was a good thing to book.
Yeah.
We also had Mardi Gras, you had Valentine's, those are huge weekends.
Yeah, and we had good weather for all of them. I mean, Sunday on Valentine's Day was got a little cold on us, but got the people here over the weekends. So we're looking. Our season's starting off good. Of course, I understand it's supposed to snow on Wednesday.
Well, middle of the week though.
But that's true.
Yeah. Happens on Saturday.
And it's kind of like, you know, there's times when I look at the weekend and I'm going, you know, we really do need that parking garage. So, now if we could just pay for it. Yep. And James, thank you for reading Dwayne Allen's report. I thought that was, we just got that in, and I think for the public to know that it's also going to be published on our city website. So if you didn't quite gather all the numbers when James was reading it, you can go on the public website and see it and read it for there too. So we're in pretty good shape considering that we're dealing with, you know, some old lines. And eventually our water lines are going to have to be replaced. And I think that's what Dwayne was talking about.
Does this go on the website as well? What you read, your report?
Yes. Well,
Does it need to?
no, I don't know.
For
Normally
people
we
to
don't.
see it, I don't know if it's public.
We can. Yeah, we've never even thought about it on that. So,
There might be some that would want to look at it.
Yep.
And then there might not be. I can't say.
Well, we'll find out. All right, as far as upcoming events, March 12th, St. Patty's Day Parade, 2 p.m., starting at the library, going down Spring Street. And then March 13th, we have Talent on Parade at 2 p.m. at the auditorium. The March 15th and 16th, it's Carving in the Ozarks, the Victorian Inn. March 19th, it's a Victorian Classic route through town, and that starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, goes through noon. And March 25th through 26th is Celebrate Jesus Parade, 2 p.m., and activities around the Basin Park. And that's all I have.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
3 months in.